I have two things to talk about. One is the issue of Lagos colony, and the other one is the imperial economic policy. On the Lagos colony we talked about amalgamation. I want to comment that now that you have the syllabus from the federal government, I want you to put it clear to Nigerian authors that we have only two amalgamation, because most of the books we've read in Nigeria is only mentioned that we have only one amalgamation in this country, and that is the amalgamation of 1914. So I want you to be corrected from history. Henceforth, that the first amalgamation begins from Lagos to Southern Protectorate. Henceforth, because most of the books that were right from 1995 from school still date talks about 1914 amalgamation. That's my comment in that area for the next generation of students. Then the second one is about the imperial economic policy. From what you said, the British, their essence in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, is about the economic weapons to supply most of the resources we have here to Europe. And I think that thing has dwelled in us in Lagos, and Lagos has been practicing that imperial economic policy. For instance, in Lagos, most of the economic policy we have here, we have, we have influenced other states in Nigeria to also adopt such economic policy, especially in the political arena. You can see from APC was moving from Lagos, spreading across to other countries. That's another type of imperial policy. Another one is the area of the banking sector. We have most of our banking industry, the head office are based in Lagos, except for the Unity Bank, but now they are back to Lagos. They were once in Abuja. That's another type of imperial policy. And I think that imperial policy is really working. So Lagos will have the economic dominance in this country. Thank you very much for this lecture, and I think we need to talk more about other aspects of our history in terms of culture, apart from imperial policy.
My name is Arochuckwu. I want to ask the question that the word Lagos, where is it coming from? I heard that Lagos is a town in Portugal, Lagos. But did they ever invaded Lagos, or how did they came?
The book called Lago de Quran, which has been done by somebody who is there, Mr. Bonny. Please stand up. This is a journalist. Everybody needs to have that book. You sometimes you walk on the street of Lagos and you see a name of this, and you're wondering what's the meaning of this name. Especially since this street is not being taught in school. He's done a fantastic work. I think you will publish it now. So he published it on his own, and now we're trying to see how we can reissue it. Like I even go to schools. Because I see a lot of those names, and we are wondering, why should I be living on Mr. Whitestone Street? What does it mean? Mr. White.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ijaw, and thank you very much, sir, for this very wonderful my traveling journey. We're interested particularly about the isms in this isms, colonialism, imperialism, and understanding more of what the colonialists did and what the structure they laid down. We actually need to understand only their appetite. Like Cicero said, that if he could, he was going to annex other planets. Now, my question is this, sir. The difference between colonialism and imperialism, and what were the epochs, what are the periods of these two terminologies? Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The question is very simple. I've heard all the whole story you are telling me here, but I'm from the eastern part of this country. I haven't heard anything said the eastern part of this country did this or that. Does it mean they are not part of this country?
Let me start with him. I was just trying to rush the paper, actually discussing the paper. See, the British realized that the key to the Igbo hinterland, was with the arrow. And the arrow, they were great traders. And they became very prominent, particularly in the coastal trade, as middlemen between the Igbo hinterland and Niger Delta traders. And so the British, based on intelligence reports, they realized that if they could attack Aro, that would open an opportunity for them to move to the hinterland. And of course, from the records, historical records available, the last decade of the 19th century, the last 10 years, was serious conflict between the Igbos, the Aro, and the British. And eventually, by 1901, they succeeded in defeating the Aro. Once Aro was captured, the Aro town was captured. From there, they now moved to the hinterland of Igbo land, to establish control. It's actually discussed in the paper. What gave that opportunity to them was the Lagos factor. Because Lagos had been consolidated, they now moved from Lagos to Niger Delta. Dealt with Jaja of Opobo. Like I also mentioned here, in the case of Jaja of Opobo, who strongly resisted the British. What did they do to him? They called him, invited him for a friendly meeting. Said, come, let us meet at the sea so we can talk. As soon as Jaja of Opobo entered the boat took off. That was how we were able to get Jaja. The boat took off. They kidnapped him. He said, look, at least this is one symbol of resistance to British invasion or incursion. So they removed Jaja of Opobo. And of course, the palm oil trade was mostly from the Igbo land, through Niger Delta to the coast. So they knew that once Opobo was gone, Bonny was gone, Aro was gone, then they could move to the Igbo hinterland. That was how they were able, to move in to the Igbo land. Of course, conquer the areas, and from there continue their conquest of north. It's not that the Igbos were left out. They were actually, or they probably experienced this European or British invasion